in Kaduna. The Sultan said Nigeria was in an explosive situation, especially the northern region. He expressed concern about the millions of unemployed youth without income and food and said this posed a serious danger. Quoting him, "We must find jobs for our teeming youth that are sitting idle, and have said it so many times. We sit on a keg of gunpowder, having teeming youth, millions of them without jobs, without food. We are looking for trouble." End of quote. That's what the Sultan said. And well, I'll get you to listen to him, but also we'll look at all the issues that have come up as a result of this. Stay with us. The conversation continues right here on your radio experience. You can count on. You're welcome to Eagles Outlook. And my name is Iya Nacho Prince.
Many times we're sitting on a cake of gunpowder, having teeming youth, millions of them without job, without food. We are looking for trouble. But alhamdulillah, we believe in ourselves. We believe in Almighty Allah to bring support to all our problems. And we'll keep on praying, and we'll keep on urging our political leaders who we believe they will do something better.
That's the Sultan of Sokoto there, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, speaking on the matter of food insecurity. They're speaking also on unemployment, speaking on insecurity and all. And it goes further during that conversation to say that, well, the committee there going further to say that they may not be able to continue to pacify the people if the food insecurity continues as it is. They've been asking and pacifying the people and asking them to hold back on whatever it is that they intend to do. But as it is, they may not be able to continue to hold them back as poverty, hunger, and insecurity continue to ravage, especially the region. Well, with this, now let's move on to talk about how the federal government has said they're going to distribute about 42,000 metric tons of grains free of charge to Nigeria to solve the problem that is probably going to even it's just going to be maybe an immediate fix. But again, in the short term or medium term and long term, it's going to be even more disastrous because people are going to get free food. How much free food are they going to get? And how are you going to ensure that this works? Now, the answer to how this is going to be done is answered by the federal government. The federal government, said that the Department of State Services and the National Emergency Management Agency have been engaged to distribute the food. So the 42,000 metric tons of grains approved by President Tinubu in order to ensure that commodities get to the targeted citizens nationwide. The DSS, the DSS would accompany the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, that is, in the distribution of food. So what are they going to do? Are they going to come up armed to prevent people from hijacking the food? How are they going to do this? Again, we recall that even in the past when this is done, security agents are there. Sometimes security agents are there and even escort the food to private warehouses, where they are what's the word again? Would maybe instead of just selling, I'm thinking in my little mind, I'm thinking, look, instead of just distributing food for free, why don't we have government run stores where people can go and buy the food for cheaper rates? All right, so if I know that there's a store somewhere where I can buy this food at cheaper rates, so look at the communities, maybe have 2 or 3 stores in every community or every local markets to sell at cheaper rates. Isn't that what competition is? instead of just saying we're going to give people free food. I mean, look at all the free things we've been talking about since the inception of the APC administration. Free money for the indigent or the poorest of the poor. Many people, would tell you that they can't account for this. They haven't seen people who have gotten this free money per se. The trader money, how well did it work? The free food or free school feeding program, how well did it work? What else is there that has been given free of charge by the APC administration in the last 8 years? How much of it has resulted in the desired results, has provided the desired results? How much of it has alleviated the sufferings of the poverty in the land, or has it even further exacerbated it? How much of it has been properly accounted for? How much of it has been transparent enough to satisfy the questions on the minds of many Nigerians? At what point would we move away from this idea of freebies and giveaways that hasn't really worked? Okay, at some point we said there was going to be free food for children, and then children were in their homes, for school children, and children were in their homes, and we had billions of naira that went down the drain for school feeding within the period of COVID-19, where children were. We saw the COVID-19 palliatives that were supposed to be given to Nigerians ended up in private warehouses, ended up in the markets, where people who were supposed to distribute them sold them off, as against distributing them to those who really desired or needed them. So, they say the definition of insanity, Jim Rohn says, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If the freebies hasn't worked, or the palliatives as we call them, hasn't worked, we saw a situation where in June last year, the federal government, the president made a declaration that monies are going to be given to states that will clean up the social register. Guess what? Just cleaning up the social register in this administration cost about 500 million naira. All right, that's what the Minister of Interior, the company, what's the name of that company now that is owned by the Minister of Interior, or that they say the Minister of Interior owned, which he denies any link to. He says, I've left the company since 2015 or so, or 2019. But again, many have linked him to that, to that company. Now, they were supposed to provide consultancy service to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to clean up the register. They got about 400 and something million naira contract to do that. This is the same social register we're talking about that has led to the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, where monies were going left, right, and center, unaccounted for, without transparency or accountability and all. So, also the last Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, 37 or so billion naira went down the drain, unaccounted for till today. The EFCC and all still probing that. So what are we doing? Are we just creating avenues for people to steal? Someone said it's one thing to call somebody a thief, and it's another thing for you to tempt the person to steal. All right. So if we have a system that provides an opportunity, someone said, I think it was what's his name now? On Twitter, I can't remember, Dr. somebody. Oh God, why am I missing that name? He said that the reason corruption and stealing has continued in Nigeria is because there's too much opportunities, so many opportunities to steal. If you provide people with opportunities to steal, what do you expect? What do you expect? Now, experts are thinking that things may even get worse, because currently we're seeing a situation where, according to the Business Day report from yesterday, the landing cost of PMS has gone up to about 1,009 naira per litre. If that's the situation, it means that subsidy is still being paid somehow, if that's the actual situation, because as of October 2023, the landing cost was about 700 naira, over 700 naira, and people were were buying PMS at 600 and something naira. So it means that, you know, whatever it is, that's the difference. Somebody's paying it, even though the federal government has denied paying subsidies at any point. IMF 2 days ago came out to say that subsidy has returned. So the federal government is paying subsidy, but the federal government says no, we're not paying subsidy. Now, if that's the case, if PMS is landing for 1,009 naira per liter, it means that if the federal government is going to stick by its decision to remove subsidy and not pay subsidy, Nigerians would buy PMS averagely at about 1,200 naira, if not 1,300 naira per liter. So, what? Because you've not factored in the cost of transportation, you know, to the filling stations where you're going to buy them. So that's also a cost that would be factored in. So if you're going to buy fuel at 1,000, how many people can afford it? How many people can be able to, you know, would be able to survive with that? That would mean that the cost of food and other items would go up not astronomically, would go up drastically. We're probably going to have an inflation rate of over 50%. That's if we want to do it officially, right? The official figures that, you know, to churn out, even though we know that in most cases, as it is currently, inflation is way over 200%. I did a bit of that, so you know that's, you know, what it is. Gary that was selling for 200 or 300 naira as last year, it now sells for between 800 naira and 900 naira per measure. You know, so looking at this, you know that the inflation is way beyond what the official figures are saying. Okay, now in all fairness, since the Tinubu administration came in fairness to the administration, they've been able to, the revenue sharing between the federal, state and local governments has increased. All right. Before now, you'd hear that they shared maybe 800, 900 billion naira. But now, from the when the subsidy removal was declared, we saw, you know, 1 point something trillion, even to a point where it almost got to 2 trillion naira being shared amongst the three tiers of government. And you'd wonder, what are the state governments doing with these monies? Since they've been getting more revenue or allocations from the federal government, what have they been doing? What have they been doing with the money? About 2 billion naira was given to each state governor in June or so last year for palliatives to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. How many of them actually? How many of them can you point to and say, oh, this is what we got? In December, even National Assembly members got food and all of that to distribute to their constituents. But again, how many? We saw a couple who actually went ahead to distribute the food items or grains. But I don't think that number is up to, 20% of the National Assembly members that we really saw. So again, the problems have. Is the Falcon still listening to the Falconer? Have life become nasty, short, and British? Would it ease off? How soon would it ease off? The federal government and the president and even his wife has said things would ease off soon, very soon. As a matter of fact, I do not envy the president. And I kind of want to pity him, but he said, no, don't pity me. Remember, during the campaigns, he said, they understand the situations. That's what he said to Nigerians. And that's why Nigerians are holding them to this. We understand me. I asked for this job. And please, now that he has the job, and he's asking, what is happening? What has happened? What has happened? How soon? How much longer do we need to wait? Still sticking with the economy, master bakers across the country are threatening to go on strike. Don't forget that 24th or so, they might be going on strike if nothing. At some point, even the master bakers who are saying they're going to go on strike if they go on strike, even if they don't go on strike, how many people can afford their bread as it is with the current prices? What the Sultan of Sokoto said, he was sitting on the keg of gunpowder. How does that meet you? What do you think? Is that a threat? Because some people have said, oh, it seems like a subtle threat from the northern traditional rulers. But again, they're speaking their concerns, the concerns of their people. There's hunger in the land, there's insecurity, there is poverty, there's unemployment. Biting this much, how much more can they hold off their people? We've seen protests erupt here and there in some part of the country. How much longer can the people bear this? Join the conversation. It is Have Your Say Thursday. Feel free to join the conversation now and share your thoughts with me. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You want to send SMS and WhatsApp messages? Make that too. 090-9705-4450. I'd love to get your thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Leonard.
Good morning, sir. Who's joining us?
Please, Thomas Okuyo is calling you for Nasarawa State.
Mr. Thomas, you're welcome.
I want to ask you this question. Does this country really an independent country?
Well, what do you think?
So why is it that a foreign currency is determine our our economics?
That's because we're import dependent. We're an import dependent economy.
Now, what we have concerning this fuel now, we are the one that owns it. Why are we taking it to another country and to refine it and bring it back to us? Does it mean our refinery is not working?
Of course you know that.
Okay, why is it not working? Why are they not telling us the truth? The reason why our refinery will not work, another one that is on another country will work before they refine and bring it to us. The reason why these people that don't have idea of government, force them out of that place. They will not going to work, and they will never go to be a change. That is the reason why they are talking of the qualification. Those people are there fighting for those things not to work. They don't have idea. Please, we should come up with a good idea and force them out of that place. If not, we'll never go anywhere.
Out of there, but lots of Nigerians had the chance. Nigerians have the chance to do so, and you'd have another chance in 2017 if you don't like your leaders, your current leaders. If you don't want them to be there, it's only in 2017 that you can do so. Hello, good morning.
Thank you, my prince.
Good morning, Obasanjo. Welcome again.
Thank you. The first caller, sorry. I wish you. We don't. I don't know. Do we need education person or we don't? It's that education. What? See, my prince. The oil. We don't have refinery. We can give out this oil. They should give out refinery. We can give out this oil and say, come, all the raw material that the refinery will be. We will give you people oil. Come and fix this refinery for all over this country, starting from Lagos, Ogun State, Ondo State, Osun State, Port Harcourt, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Bayelsa, Cross River. Fix this refinery. Then we will give you people oil. Let's do exchange. So that in that exchange, it will take a time, maybe 2, 3, 4 years, and this refinery will be fixed. Perhaps this money, our people have been looting this money day in, day out. They will be talking about refinery. Let me ask Mr. President, in 2015, your campaign, you said about